Good morning, I'm Verlecia Gavin. We are just a few hours away from the House St. Patty's Parade. It's expected to bring thousands to the capital city, but the fun has already started. He says he would send a statement, but we have yet to receive it. Walker was most recently employed at Capitol Police, and we're trying to confirm if that's still the case. This is not something you see often here in Mississippi, so I'm very excited. I mean, you can literally look at this snow. Lots and lots of snow. So I had to get out and see it for myself. This is the first time that he's seeing these type of results, not only winning the Democratic nominee, but this was not a close race between him and the current mayor. We are learning more details in the officer-involved shooting that killed Hinds County Deputy Martin Shields Jr. Sunday night in Terry. A Mississippi woman who was given up for adoption at birth recently discovered she has 4 sisters. It's a journey down the road to sisterhood, 67 years in the making. There are empty seats right now at Trustmark Park, as you can see, not just because it's 6 o'clock in the morning, but because it's not game day. And as I walk deeper into the bridge, the more my feet get covered. Luckily, I have on my Ray boots, so I'm good to go. But if you're driving through this area, you definitely would have to be careful. Sometimes that problem starts when people take their trash and simply throw it on the ground instead of in the trash can. Well, last week, the U.S. Department of Education was once again trying to collect federal student loans in default. This ends a pandemic-era pause that began roughly 5 years ago. Well, Governor Tate Reeves is signaling he's ready to put pen to paper on tax reform legislation. But there are still questions about whether the legislation will fix a mistake or be instructed to do so. Now, the National Weather Service did confirm that an EF3 and an EF4 tornado hit here in the area. Now, what you just saw is actually part of the cleanup effort. I'm going to show you some of the actual damage. Now, as you can see just right here, this is one of the trailers that's a part of this RV resort. We got here around 3:30, and let me tell you, it's a much different scene than what we were seeing then. As you can see behind me, it appears that the fire has been fully extinguished. Another positive event here in the metro, the pink carpet was rolled out yesterday at this year's Sister Strut 3K walk. It's a walk that celebrates breast cancer survivors and spreads awareness. That's right, Courtney, and the doors at Thalia Mara Hall have been closed for weeks now. You can actually see the cobwebs on the door handles. Now soon they'll be changing this sign to canceled, and the future of the building is still unclear. Comedian Kevin Hart is just one act that's been canceled since Thalia Mara Hall closed due to a mold outbreak on August 1st. Many residents were disappointed to hear the news, but they weren't surprised.
I wouldn't come either, but I love Jackson. It has a lot to offer, but you know, until things are ready, you know, I say, you know, Jackson has to do better.
The building was built in 1968. Some residents saying they understand that things break as they get older. They also say it's time to revamp the building as a whole.
You just need to upgrade. And Jackson as a whole needs to be upgraded, from the water to you name it. And just need a little facelift, that's all.
According to Jackson Mayor Chokwe and Tarla Mumba, the city put in a request to lawmakers for funds to address repairs, but only recently received the money. However, they did not anticipate the HVAC system breaking down completely.
It wasn't not done for a lack of political will, right? What we find is that our needs exceed our means. And so when you're in a circumstance where your need exceeds your means, then you have to find what is the highest priority that has to be dealt with in that time.
Along with replacing the HVAC system, the city must also address plumbing issues, plus replacing and repairing the elevators. One resident who visits the Performing Arts Center frequently says he was stuck upstairs after the elevator failed back in October.
The problem there is we only have one elevator, and you can't get this wheelchair down the escalator, and you certainly can't get this wheelchair down like 25 stairs. So we were left with no choice but to call Jackson Fire Department to rescue me and my chair.
Crawford says not being able to go upstairs took away from his experience at the theater.
The mold is worse because now nobody can use our Performing Arts Center.
Former social media personality William Polo Edwards was found guilty of first-degree murder of Robert Davis. He was also found guilty of being a convicted felon in possession of a firearm. Now, after sitting through 2 trials, Davis's family says justice has finally been served. After 3 days of testimony and less than 2 hours of deliberation,
We, the jury, find the defendant, William Irvin Edwards, guilty of first-degree murder.
William Edwards is convicted for killing 45-year-old Robert Davis in May of 2022.
Still very emotional. We just heard the verdict, and we are elated.
This isn't the first time this case faces a jury. The first trial was declared a mistrial after jurors couldn't reach a verdict. The victim's sister, Jo Weaver, says this time around, the decision was clear.
I feel like this time that the evidence was clean, it was condensed, it was concise, and I feel that it was presented in a way that the jury could understand and come to the verdict, and they got it right this time.
Before going into deliberations Thursday evening, the jury heard from both sides one last time. Edwards standing firm on what he's claimed since the beginning. The state's argument is based on the testimony of Shadow Robinson. Robinson testified that she heard gunshots and then saw Edwards standing over Davis's body with the gun. Edwards called Robinson a liar several times throughout the trial and told the jury his defense is based on truth.
He was the truth, the way, and the life, and they still crucified him. People hate the truth. Truth doesn't have to object. It just waits its turn. Remember I told you in my earlier open arguments that truth is like love, it's patient, it's kind, it's generous.
The state coming behind him arguing that the facts say otherwise.
Because when you don't have nothing, that's all you can do. You can just preach. When you don't have the facts, you just got to preach. But you shouldn't preach in the name of Jesus Christ when you murdered somebody.
Edwards' sentencing is set for Tuesday in Judge Faye Peterson's courtroom. From the Hinds County Courthouse, Verlecia Gavin, they're on your side.